People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, and I hope you're all well and safe. Before I carry on, it was my birthday yesterday, and to be honest, people, I'm shocked by the amount of well wishes you guys sent me and things like that. I've tried to reply to everyone, but I'd like to say thank you for such people. It means the world, and things like that. And it just goes back to what I was saying, in that we've got a little community here on my channel, and I genuinely care for you guys. I think based on the stuff I see, it's likewise, and especially with society at where it is at the moment with the COVID-19 sort of business. It's nice to see everyone coming together to some capacity. But in relation to Arsenal news, there isn't much to speak about, really and truly. It's irrelevant, people, but I find it interesting. In relation to Hector Bellerin, is the PFA, is our representative to the PFA. I assume that's in relation to any grievances we have as a club in relation to football, and just like any other clubs, he's our representative. How I found that out is just by reading reports in relation to the whole wage stuff Arsenal's got going on. Bellerin is the one that relays stuff and goes to the PFA, and it's an interesting one depending on how you look at that, because first and foremost, I would have assumed it would have been Aubameyang. If Bellerin's been the guy for that, then it's fine. But it also makes me look at Bellerin differently, in the sense of, listen, he might not always wear the captain's armband, but I would describe Bellerin as a leader. He might not be what I necessarily define as a leader, but I think he shows great courage, because, footballers, it's sad that they can't have other passions, people. Well, they can, but people, if Bellerin was playing amazing, it would shut up. But there's critique about his diet, his fashion sense, and all of these things. What I admire about Bellerin, he likes to stand up for what's right, whether that's climate change, racism, discrimination, politics, all of these things. What I like about him is he's not afraid to be who he wants to be. If he wants to wear these funky clothes that people will laugh at and things, myself included, on a banter thing on my behalf, he doesn't care. He wants to be himself, and there's many different aspects. Of course, I need him to improve on the football field, but I really like that with him. He said he wants to be the captain of this club, and he has captained the team, and he has been someone that's described as a vocal figure and does these sort of things before. But it goes into why he potentially could be a captain even more. He seems to like responsibility. I just felt I would mention that, people. But moving away from such people, these rumours are always going to keep surfacing, and we'll never know what's going to happen. So we can only speak about them, even though we know 98% of it is nonsense. Before we get onto Aubameyang, people, I want to start with Thomas Partey. I can finally say his name. The latest report coming out of Italy, I believe Dello Sport, apparently more of the same. We've offered 50 million euros, and the player's one step away from joining Arsenal now. We've heard a lot of this. There's a lot of two and go in relation to his contract. We hear Atletico want to give a contract extension. We know he's a good player. If you need reminding of how good he is, look at how he played against Liverpool at Anfield. He is the sort of player we need. He is, he would start for us. He gives us another dimension in midfield. I believe he's 24, 25. It could be older or younger, but mid-20s. So yeah, man, the Emre wanted him allegedly, so I'd imagine the club have done their due diligence on him. Injuries, records, potential injuries, and other medical stuff. We should know about the player to a T, and we should have continued to scout. I would love him. The problem is, I do believe him and his advisors are using or leveraging us and allegedly Manchester United's interest to get a new deal at Atletico, or if he might genuinely want to leave. Apparently he was keen on Arsenal. I believe I speak for most fans when they say we're keen on him, and if the club are legit keen, the fans want him, and I hope he wants to come. I do think fans are painting him as a messiah, which he's not, because he does have some shortcomings. Now, he's better than what we have, and he would undoubtedly be an upgrade. But I just feel when we're linked with players, like most fans, they think one singular player is going to come in and change our fortunes. Whether that's him, whether that's Saliba, whether that's previously Mesut Ozil or Paul Pogba at Man United. It goes for all fans. I don't think that's the case, people. But I would love him. I'm not sure if it will happen. Now, Aubameyang's contract, for obvious reasons, Aubameyang's future, for obvious reasons, puts Arsenal at concern. Depending on how you look at the transfer market, on one scale you could say, because teams have to be a bit more prudent if the football dynamic does change and people can't spend because of what's happening in society with the virus, you would think maybe they might pass on Aubameyang. You know, he's probably going to command decent wages, 50 odd million, probably got 2 maybe 3 years left max. Again, I don't know that to be fact because he looks after himself just looking at his age. Or the flip side and the most concerning side is, you know, Aubameyang is a deal on today's day and age, regardless of his age. You could get 2 years of 20 league goals minimum sort of striker. You could say Madrid are missing that. You know, he could give you an option and whatnot sort of thing, people. And the flip side is, you know, Aubameyang would be underpriced. If that is the thing, he would be underpriced. Realistically, I would love Arsenal to get a 60, 70 million. Realistically, we're probably just going to break even and get our 50 odd million back, potentially even less, because we have no negotiating power, people. We have none. The longer his contract stuff goes on, you know, we run the risk of him leaving on a free, which Arsenal might deem similar to Ramsey if he can help us get in the champs. I know it didn't happen for Ramsey, it might be cool. But, you know, we've got no position of power. There's going to be no Champions League. There's going to be several things. And, you know, we're approaching the summer and things. We have no position of power. And I do think if Arsenal were put 50, 55, however much we signed Aubameyang, literally that exact money, I do think the club would go for it. And on one hand, we could sit here and say we shouldn't have got into this mess. What are we going to do with the other strikers? And I wouldn't exactly be happy with Aubameyang leaving because it would be underpriced. But on the same hand, break even for a player with a year left, you can go again. How far? 50 odd million, it's not going to get you, unless scouts have done their due diligence, it's not going to get you that sort of striker on Aubameyang's level immediately, but you never know what it could have for you, people. But he's been linked with a bunch of clubs, and again, it's the same old. Apparently, courtesy of Sports Witness, Aubameyang has decided against renewing his contract with Mikel Arteta's side and is asked to leave the club when the transfer window opens. Apparently, he already has offers from Inter Milan and PSG, but he is waiting for Barcelona, who view Aubameyang as a backup option to Lautaro Martinez, people. Apparently, in relation to Real Madrid, Real Madrid have inquired about Aubameyang's price, but have not made any further advancements. Talk of Barcelona signing Aubameyang has increased in recent weeks, relating in particular to the fact that the player's father recently bought a home in the Catalan capital. And you did hear a couple of things like that. He is of Spanish descent. You hear he made his grandfather once a promise that he will play for Real Madrid or in Spain. And, you know, that's something to explore. He's played in England. He's been a success in England. Maybe not in terms of, not in terms of silverware, but him personally, he's been a success. He's won titles, he's won stuff with Dortmund and played in Germany. He's experienced Italy. The chance to play for Real Madrid or Barca is something that can't be turned down. It's an opportunity to, he's got Spanish descent in him, go to Spain, play in La Liga, play for 2 of the biggest clubs, and which you'd be inclined to believe, 9 times out of 10, they're going to win a Champions League, a La Liga title or something. I don't want to say certainties in life, but he's assured to get some titles there. And you just really can't turn down these sort of clubs, I believe, and especially at his age, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of sorts. He's been linked with Inter. I know Inter Milan is not where it's previously is, but, maybe the carrot of trying to go and be more of a success in Italy than previously before, playing under Conte, playing for Inter Milan, playing actually where, it might be a good option for Aubameyang because he looks after himself for someone that's getting on a bit in football terms anyways. And, playing in Italy extends your career by probably about 10 years. Look at Ashley Young, he's playing like he's 25. So that could be something of his. He's been linked with PSG. I mean, you can see why you'd want to go. I mean, you can PSG trying to win champs. I think if they kept Neymar and Mbappe, I know that would be such a front three, and I think he would fit in with the lifestyle, fit in with the squad there. Again, I don't know it to be true. As an Arsenal fan, of course, I'm going to look at it like Aubameyang should be first choice priority for all of these clubs. He's, Arsenal have got their best player, year left, he's going to score goals. But on the other hand, he might be seen as just a backup option somewhere and that people might go for him. But, PSG might have other targets and then they consider Aubameyang. Barcelona, you've heard Martinez and all of these sort of players. Aubameyang might be the backup. Real Madrid, you've basically seen the same. So that could maybe help Arsenal. But again, if nobody moves for him in the summer, and we don't renew his contract, then, with every good performance, it's going to be there and things like that. And you're hoping that, which I don't like to advocate, is he enters next season or whenever that is with a year left on his deal, and you're hoping to convince him to stay, while quietly in the background admitting the truth that he's going to walk away. Like, I do genuinely believe Arsenal would be comfortable with Aubameyang staying and running down his deal, if he was to literally get us Champions League next year, not just him, but you get the point. You know how reliant this club is on Champions League, to the point where it's having actually a detrimental effect and things like that. And you can argue we're not running the club in the best potential way, people. So that I don't know what to make of any of that. And ironically, I forgot to mention Bellerin's been linked with a move away as well, people. It's a bit irrelevant, but I felt I'd include this. Mark Randall, now I'm sure some of you remember, former young player at Arsenal, made a couple of appearances and went elsewhere. He spent 10 years here altogether, and he's had some things to say. Firstly, he was kind of upset that he didn't get a goodbye personally from Arsene Wenger when he left in 2011, which is the year I finished school. He said, I was coming to the end of my contract, so I knew what was going to happen, but I was still gutted when Arsenal told me I'd not be getting a new deal. He now plays in Northern Ireland, people, which of course you'd be gutted. He said, I spoke to one of the directors, but I didn't hear from Arsene Wenger at all, which disappointed me. After all the time there, I thought he would have said something to me. And then he spoke about the West Brom game, which he made his debut in, people, I believe. His competitive debut. In 2006, he said, with the West Brom game, it all happened so quickly. He says, I knew I was going to get on because I was told to warm up. Arsene wished me good luck and told me what he wanted from me. I was only 17 at the time, and when you're at that age, you have no fear, so I just wanted to go out and impress the manager. He then spoke on training and playing with borderline/world-class players, people, which Cesc Fabregas and Thierry Henry once were, obviously. He said, I was young, quiet and didn't say much, but you learn so much in training with world-class players. Thierry Henry and Cesc Fabregas were always really good with youngsters. I remember one of Cesc Fabregas' first matches for the club, a reserve game against Coventry City. We had never seen a player like that. We were all sitting on the touchline looking at each other like, oh my God, he was unbelievable. So that's a funny one. I mean, that's an interesting one from him. And I mean, Mark Randall, to still have a professional career is something that I would have bitten my head off. And you know, you might not have worked out for you at Arsenal, but you've done what many of us would give our lives for 30 seconds, making our debut for Arsenal, playing for Arsenal. I know it didn't work out. I know you're not exactly happy with Arsene Wenger, but it is what it is in that regards, people. On that note, I've got nothing more to say. So we've spoken briefly about Mark Randall. I've touched on Bellerin for no reason. And we've gone over the reports of Partey and Aubameyang respectively. On that note, though, gonna get out of here, people. Deluded, I'm out.